Hello guys and girls, this is Kentucky from Looking for Guides. This time take a look on the Protection Paladin on the Battle for Azeroth beta server. Let's start with the recent block changes that hit the beta server. I didn't mention it in the Protection Warrior because then it wasn't implemented, but now it is. So let's take a look on it. Block now have a chance to increase your armor, so it is a proc based chance to reduce the damage you take. It is a major change because armor will always depend on the level of enemy you're attacking. As you can see, there is a target dummy where there is 32.06 damage reduction against current targets, and the lower dummy is 49.22%, and so on and so on and so on. And also Shield of the Righteous is also changed to increase your armor by a huge amount. So at first let's take a look on the spells that changed from Legion to BFA. Avenger's Shield now procs that it increases the effect of your next Shield of the Righteous, so it is an even more great armor increase when you use Shield of the Righteous after Avenger's Shield. Avenging Breath is also changed. Now it increases your damage, healing and critical strike chance by 20%. Consecration is changed hugely. The main part of this is that your mastery includes that standing in your consecration reduces the damage you take. So it is essential to always, or possibly at most of the time, stand inside your consecration. But then consecration's duration is increased by 4 seconds, and its cooldown is just 5 second baseline, which is reduced by haste. And here I would like to add that most of your abilities cooldowns are reduced by haste. As you can see here, Avenger's Shield, the Judgment, Hammer of the Righteous, Shield of the Righteous, Light of the Protector, Consecration, and so on and so on and so on. A lot of your spells cooldown are reduced by haste. Now Light of the Protector is also changed. It is buffed seriously because based on Mythic House, it increases its heal by a huge amount. It increases by up to 200%, so it is a almost 12,000 heal on a 30,000 health tank, which means that it is more than 30% of your current of your total HP, which is a huge heal on a rather short cooldown, which cooldown can be reduced additionally. So we will look into that later. Shield of the Righteous, as I mentioned, is changed hugely. It now increases your armor, and its synergy with Consecration is removed, so you can use it anytime, anywhere you want. It will flatly increase your armor and in this way reduce your damage taken. Grand Crusader's proc chance changed to 15%. It is I think, pretty small amount, but with talent you can achieve 25%. Your mastery is also changed. Now it doesn't increase the damage taken reduction from Shield of the Righteous. Now it increases the damage taken reduction while you're standing in your consecration, and it increases your chance to block melee attacks, so it increases the proc chance of your additional block armor. So it is a very interesting mastery. I think haste mastery will be the default the default stat choice for every Protection Paladin. This is the new talents. These are, I think this will be the most commonly easily used talent setup, and I will show you why. Let's go from top to bottom as we used to. 15 raw Holy Shield, Redoubt, and Blast Hammer. Blast Hammer is just the same as it was. It is not interesting, but it is very useful. Holy Shield increases your block chance, and you are able to block spells, and your blocks deal holy damage. This is very good against bosses or trash mobs or instances when there is frequent magical attacks. But Redoubt is a undoubtedly good talent choice because Avenger's Shield bounces to one additional target and it increases your block, so it doesn't increase your block chance, but as you can see it increases your block amount, the armor that it grants, by a large amount. So, as we speak, Redoubt is a very good option for almost all situations when you frequently use Avenger's Shield. And the other two are just like situationally useful. Blast Hammer mainly for heavy AoE and Holy Shield for magic damage. Against magic damage, of course. 30 row, First Avenger, Crusader's Judgment, Bastion of Light. I don't think Bastion's Light could be used in any situation. It is on a too long cooldown. 2 minutes is like way too long. Even with Seraphim, where you consume your Shield of Righteous charges to increase your stats, and with Bastion of Light you could refill these charges. I don't think it is useful because of the 2-minute cooldown. If it will be 1-minute cooldown, it could line up with Seraphim way better, but now I don't think it should be used in any scenario. Because Crusader's Judgment grants 2 charges to Judgment, and Grand Crusader will grant a charge to your Judgment, which reduces the remaining cooldown on Shield of the Righteous, which grants you more active mitigation, more frequent active mitigation, and more frequent damage reduction through armor. First Avenger also buffs your Avenger's Shield, so it could be paired up with Redoubt, and it increases your Grand Crusader's proc chance, but mainly I think it is a damage increase talent, while Crusader's Judgment is a survival talent, more likely. So it depends on situations between these two. The 45 row is the crowd control row, single target stun, single target incapacitate, and AoE disorient. 60 row is a choice between 3 different kind of abilities. Retribution Aura is now a damage option, Cavalier is now a movement increase option, and Blessing of Spell Warding is of course the magic damage immunity. It is also in a situation where it is useful, this is the mandatory. In the situations when there is a very lot of movement, then Cavalier, and every other situations then there is Retribution Aura. 75 row, Final Stand, Unbreakable Spirit, and Hand of the Protector. Currently, Hand of the Protector is just works as a modifier to your Light of the Protector, so you can just apply it to anyone, so you can heal anyone with Hand of the Protector, and the function that if you're standing in your consecration, Hand of Protector's healing is increased, is now currently doesn't work. So it is only makes Light of the Protector on a shorter cooldown and able to cast on any friendly target. Unbreakable Spirit is very useful because it reduces the cooldowns of your main defensive abilities, mainly Ardent Defender, which makes it a 1.4 minute cooldown, which is a very short cooldown. I think this should be used baseline, or maybe Hand of the Protector, because of the reduced cooldown. And then we've got Final Stand. When you use Divine Shield, you taunt everything. I don't think it is useful in any situations. 90 raw, Judgment of Light, Consecrated Ground, and Aegis of Light. Aegis of Light is a new AoE damage reduction tool, which is very useful in certain situations, in raids, I think. I don't really see any use in Mythic Plus situations, because Consecrated Ground is much useful because it heals up to 6 allies standing in your consecration constantly at every 0.9 second. And consecration reduces the movement speed of every enemies, which is very useful for kiting, because you're just dropping consecrations very frequently because of the reduced cooldown. However, Judgment of Light is also a very interesting talent, but is slightly nerfed because it is now only 25 stacks, which means it is best used against council type encounters, or when there is 2, 3 or 4 enemies are constantly present, when you can just switch targets and apply judgment to each of them, because you will use judgment very frequently because of the Crusader's judgment spell. So I do not recommend it using in any situations unless it is a 3 or 4 target council fight. I suggest using Consecrated Ground on most situations, and Aegis of Light only in raids where you have to pop a raid cooldown, a raid defensive cooldown. As the last row we saw, Seraphim is not so good, mainly because it consumes up to 2 charges of Shield of the Righteous, and it lasts maximum of 16 seconds, which is not that great. Righteous Protector is just the best option, in my opinion, because Shield of the Righteous will reduce the cooldown of Light of Protector and Avenging Breath by 3 seconds, which is a huge reduction, mainly in terms of Avenging Breath. But Last Defender can also come to account where there are a lot of enemies around. They increase the damage you deal and reduces the damage you take by a small amount, but the more enemies around, the more damage reduction you will get. And I think later, if you get good haste scaling and cooldowns are low enough, you can spec into Hand of the Protector, Last Defender, and like this style of play, where you will do a lot more damage than before, and you will also have a good damage reduction, and you will have also a good amount of healing through Hand of the Protector. So let's see how it goes. Basically, you're just casting your judgments, applying your active mitigation. You can also Hand of the Righteous to heal yourself when there is a downtime between holy shields. As you can see. And that's all about keeping up consecration, hitting always your Avenger's shield, and always pair up with next Shield of the Righteous. Use your Hand of the Protector or Light of the Protector when needed, and you should always use your Ardent Defender against every situation when there is a slightly bit more incoming damage, even scenarios where you have to prepare a large cooldown, because you can use Guardian of Ancient Kings if needed, or Divine Shield if needed, or Blessing of Protection if needed. And then there is also Lay on Hands if you are in trouble. So thanks for watching. We will keep an eye on the Retribution Paladin next, and we will go on continuing the introduction of all specs at all class in Battle for Azeroth. So if you liked it, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, because that enables you to notify when I upload a new video. And That's the only way now, because subscribe won't tell you when I upload the video. And thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye bye.